Well, hello, my name is Brody, and today I'm sitting on the floor. Okay, so going right into it. In 2020, I backed a Kickstarter project, and when I backed it, it was already 6 or 7 months old at that point. The Kickstarter was for a board game version of a video game that I love, and that game's called Divinity Original Sin 2. 2.5 years later, I still don't have the board game. It has been a pretty rough campaign, but I remained excited and optimistic for the project. But this video isn't about the Kickstarter or the lack of communication we got along the way. It's about how I plan to make my version of the board game more immersive. Okay, for those of you who don't know, here's a quick rundown on what the video game is. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a highly acclaimed RPG with an immersive fantasy world, deep lore, diverse characters, engaging turn-based combat, impressive music, and voice acting. Players can customize their characters with various races, classes, and skills. And the game offers a rich narrative with choices and consequences that shape the world around them. The game also has a multiplayer mode that allows up to 4 players to experience the story together, adding an extra layer of fun and teamwork to the adventure. Okay, we get it. Brody, you like the game, okay? About 3 months ago, I posted a video talking about how I bought a resin 3D printer and I was going to make a store on Etsy selling custom Minecraft figures. Since then, I've learned a bunch and I've got the whole 3D printer thing nailed down. So I assume you can guess where this is going. The Divinity board game without the expansions or the side quest boxes have 101 enemy minion cards in it, which is a lot, even if there's doubles in there. So the game comes with some miniatures, but they're for the heroes mostly. There's no enemy miniatures that come with it, I believe, except for some of the bosses or all the bosses, which is fine. I don't expect them to make a miniature for every single enemy in the game. The way the game deals with enemies is they have these standees that are labeled A, B, C, D, E, I think that's it. And then with their minion tray to the side of the location book. So I want to replace these standees with actual miniatures. But I'd still have to somehow label them for their respective minion tray. Because there could be doubles. There could be 2 crocodiles in the same thing, and they don't have the same health. Luckily, I learned how to use Blender somewhat from my now failed project. I designed these little rings to go around the base. I'll show a better B-roll. I designed these rings to go around a 25mm base that would fit the 32mm scale. Assuming that's the scale they're using for the board game. We don't know. They didn't really tell us that. They haven't told us a lot of things, but hey, I'm still excited. It took me a little bit to get them right because they couldn't be exactly 25mm. They had to be like 0.5 millimeter bigger than that, and I'm quite happy with it. So I painted them in a Divinity themed color scheme, and I was now ready to start printing models to put in my standee replacements. Note in the future that I might redesign them just because the letters are a little small, but I won't really know until they're on the table playing the game. They're fine for now though. Okay, so there's no way of knowing what all the enemies are going to be in the game because the game's not out yet. But I did some investigating. I looked at every single picture and video, I think. I might have missed a few videos, but every single picture and most videos, and made a list of all the enemies that I saw. These are the names of the enemy cards I found. Most of them have the old artwork from years ago, and it's possible they may not even be in the game anymore, like the Nemesis Demon or the Drunk Villager, but I added them to the list nonetheless. Now realistically, I can't really print every single enemy. I mean I could, but I won't. I'm going to generalize them to a certain extent. For example, this Chiromancer Guardian, to me he looks like an undead mage. So I made 3 main categories: a warrior, a mage, and a ranger. And sometimes an assassin / rogue type also. And this is what my list looks like now. The blue text are enemies that I simplified. I think the Magisters will be the most important models to find, as they're the biggest part of the video game. So I haven't picked those models yet. As of right now, these are all the models that I've printed / painted. If I can, I'll link them in the description. Some of them are like subscription based, so obviously I can't link those. But yeah, here we go. I'm gonna preface this whole thing by saying I'm new to painting. I'm new to everything. I'm new to all this. I'm learning along the way, so some paints are better than other paints. I'd say they're definitely better looking than having no paint on them. So crocodiles. So these are the first guys I painted. I'm not very happy with how they turned out. They're also too small, I think. At least scale-wise with the other enemies and the heroes. They look like lizards more than crocodiles. But they'll work. I made 4 of them in hopes that that's gonna be enough. Yeah, I'm sure that's good. There's always the standees I can use. Okay, let's get this one out of the way. Wolves. I'm embarrassed to say that I painted these. I hate them. They look horrible to me. Maybe the eyes are okay, but I like the model. I'm not a fan of my paint job. I was trying to follow this guy's tutorial, and that did not work. The source hounds come from Lootstudios, and I broke one of the tails on them too. So that's cool. I'm kind of scared to paint these guys. I have gotten better since the crocodiles and the wolves, but still, it's so tiny. Everything's so tiny and detailed on this guy. Anyways, all right, the troll. I'm really happy with this model that I found. Originally, I was trying to edit the model to remove the log he was holding, but it was very difficult to make his hand look organic and not just weird and messed up. So I gave up on that and just let him keep the stick, you know? I'm a little nervous to paint him just because I want him to have like a lighter belly, and I just want them to look like the art. The art probably changed for this guy anyway. We'll get there when we get there. The Bandits. The Bandits were simplified into 3 classes. I printed 2 of each class, thinking that they're gonna be a bigger part of the game. And they can also double as other things too, if there's just some random one character kind of enemy. As of right now, these Rangers are the last thing I've painted. Drunk Villager. So this guy might not even be in the game, I don't know. He was years ago. But I'm very happy with the model that I found for him. Again, from Lootstudios. Editor Brody here. I forgot that I made the skeletons. So here's skeletons. So I printed 2 of each class. A warrior, a archer, and a mage. And the staff is actually Gandalf's staff that I found. Yeah, I'm happy with how they were. They were very annoying to deal with because of how skinny they were. Kind of like me. But yeah, I'm fairly happy with these guys. So obviously I have a lot left to do. While I was writing this video, I figured for the Magisters, I'm probably not going to make 2 of each class. But instead, I'll just do 1. Assassin, Warrior, Mage, Ranger, and White Magister. Something tells me that there won't be multiple of them in battle because there's so many different kinds. And if there is double, I guess I'll just print another. I don't know until I play the game. Also, I need to print some Voidwoken. So these are like bugs, giant bugs. And I know Loot Studio has a bunch of bugs, and I have a bunch of bugs saved on my list or whatever. Another big thing that I need to start doing too is there's different races in Divinity. We got dwarves, we got elves, we got lizard people. So I'll probably make a warrior, a mage, and a ranger and print 2 of those, 2 each of those. Maybe I should just do 1. I don't know. I got lots to think about and lots to do. We got all those. I am nervous about the elves because the elves in Divinity do look fairly different than your average, like, Lord of the Rings elf. And I'm just assuming that they'll be enemies. Here's a dwarf card that I found. That's an enemy card. It's very old. That's like first design. So yeah, well, there'll be probably corrupt elves and corrupt... Yeah, they were in the video game, so they're probably in the board game. So I need to do that. So I wasn't expecting this, but yesterday an update came out for the board game, and they told us when we should be getting them. They did this before last year when we should be getting them, but well, throughout the whole thing they've been telling us when we should expect it. But this time this time's for real. So let's go over that really quick. Finished production proof, mid-March. So I'm hoping that comes with an update. I don't know what proof means in this case. It's just they confirm that they're done. They're giving us proof. Showing you the final printed copy, June. At that point, maybe I'll make another Divinity board game video if you guys want that. Let me know. Shipping to hubs, July. Shipping to backers, August. All right, so that means I have about 5 months to make all these enemies. I mean, I don't need to, but the idea is to have it ready before it gets here, and then I could just paint the heroes and the bosses, and then boom, I got myself an immersive Divinity board game. Maybe the best Divinity board game at that moment. I hope the game's good. It looks good. I'm really excited for the game. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't excited. I'm just gonna read this part out because I don't wanna mess it up. If anyone from Larian is watching this, please, please update us more. Even if it's just saying, hello, we're still working on things and look at this random art we have. It doesn't have to be much. Also, is there any information on the side quests? Because, I don't know, we just haven't really talked about it. We haven't talked about it a lot, but I want to know about that stuff. Is that going to be next year? Are we getting that later? I'm just assuming they're not going to be with this version of the board game. Another thing, can you please use your own Discord? There's a channel in there specifically for this board game. There's a dog barking upstairs. Some of us can't comment on the Kickstarter because we didn't have an account on Kickstarter when we backed the project. Yeah, and if you backed the project, come on to the Discord and talk in there. I'm rambling. So thanks for watching. Tick off, you hosers. Well, hello. My name is Brody, and this is my Meteor data pack. I saw it in a mod, and I'm like, whoa, that'd be cool in vanilla. So I made a data pack. It's pretty simple.